the first essay in the book is called "Might the Mayflower Not Have Sailed?"
And that was a very real possibility.
Written by Theodore K. Robb. Yeah, it was a real possibility because it was not an easy voyage to get off the ground financially. And also those people wanted to go in a different direction from the way England was going.
There were storms. The boat had to be patched up in the port of Plymouth in England. There were any number of reasons why the boat might not have sailed. We might never have had a Mayflower.
Well, and then we wouldn't have had turkey and Thanksgiving. would have been right, absolutely too. Terrible. Now, actually, in terms of where they thought they were going, they were really shooting for the New York, Long Island area more than they were Plymouth. Yes,
they were, and you have to remember that at that time, though there had been Dutch explorations, such as Henry Hudson's in 1609, in the New York and the Hudson River area. There were as yet no Dutch settlements. There would be in another, say, 10 years. The Mayflower is 1616?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Well, the other people who were having trouble, as it were, settling were the Brits themselves. I mean, they had the thing down in Jamestown, but that was not growing the way they thought it was, and Britain really at this point, Mr. Robb says, was not a true empire power.
No, it was not yet. Not by any means. So, if let's say that and this is a real what if, that the Mayflower hadn't been turned in a different direction by storms in the Atlantic. Of course, it might have, the Mayflower might have landed in Manhattan, or Long Island. If it landed in Manhattan, they would have very soon come under the rule of the Dutch.
Right.
And which was very different from what happened. Or if they'd gone south, they would have fallen in with all those languorous Southerners, and we would not have had the kind of Pilgrim Puritan way of life that we have come to associate with New England, which is where they did land.
Yeah, that's the fascinating thing about this story, is that the geography is so darn important, because if there were no Plymouth Rock, there would be no Massachusetts Bay Company, there would have been no Boston.
Right. And it was the success of the Pilgrims that persuaded later settlers to come. And I think it was 1630 when the ship of real aristocrats, the Arbella, sails and lands in what is now Boston. And they start the settlement there. Got to remember, though, there's a great cachet attached to Mayflower descendants. The original Mayflower colonists were very humble people. The people who came later on the Arbella, they were the aristocrats, and they rather disliked the Pilgrims.
And from them must have come the Cabots and all those other guys.
The Cabots and the Lodges and all of them.
Yeah. Well, the last sentence or the last paragraph of this essay, I think, sums it up well. The author talks about, we now take for granted the role of these traditions. What traditions? The force of religion, the equation of work with virtue, the focus on the individual, and the insistent devoutness alongside the tolerance in determining the course of American history. But there is little doubt that they might well have died at infancy if the Mayflower had not set sail. So it would have been an entirely different America if this
Yes,
hadn't
it
happened.
would have, and the whole American experience would have been much different.